Welcome, everyone. I'm Danielle Banks, meteorologist with the Weather Company. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so happy you're here, and I'm here tonight to celebrate developers and problem solvers around the world. I'll be your host for the pre-show and post-show, bringing you coverage live from the virtual red carpet. The Call for Code Global Initiative challenges developers, data scientists, and subject matter experts around the world to create sustainable and scalable open source technologies via the power of cloud, AI, and IoT technologies to help combat the impact of the world's greatest challenges. Last year, the challenge focused on natural disasters, and this year's initial focus was on climate change, but then quickly pivoted to include COVID-19 as the global pandemic impacted all of our lives. This evening, of course, we'll be announcing the winner of this year's challenge, but there is lots more coming up. So I want to give you a brief overview of what you can expect tonight. The awards show will be hosted by CNN's Van Jones, and more about Van just a little bit later. And it also includes some special guest speakers. We have entertainment, a message from IBM CEO Arvind Krishna, and lots more. Now, the award show starts in 30 minutes, but up until then, I'm going to be bringing you coverage live from our virtual red carpet. And we'll be hearing from Call for Code partners, sponsors, and others in the vast ecosystem that makes this challenge possible. We'll be checking in live with this year's 5 finalists from their home viewing parties around the world, and we're also going to have some fun questions throughout. But let me go ahead and start by giving you an overview of the platform. So as you look on the right side of your screen, you're going to see the chat window. As you join, let us know where you're viewing from. You can also post comments there throughout the evening. It's being moderated, so if you have a question, definitely reach out. And on the left side of your screen, that is the polling window. And polling will open during the main awards show and remain open through the post show to get your thoughts, not just on next year's challenge, but the ongoing activities that will take place throughout the year. So be sure to take that poll. It is only 6 questions, very quick. Scroll down and you'll discover a map that shows you where the submissions for this year's Call for Code came from. And you can also click on the map pins, which indicate where our finalists are all from. The 2020 Finalist tab will take you to an overview of the solutions from the top 5 finalists, one of whom will become the Call for Code Challenge Grand Prize winner, and also take home that grand prize of $200,000. In the gallery, you can explore not just the solutions from last year's winner and finalists, but find out how their solutions have been deployed over the last year. And don't forget to take a minute to check out the ecosystem, creators and partners, sponsors, and affiliates whose support really makes this challenge possible. And help us to fight back by becoming involved yourself. At any time during the program, you can just click on the Donate Now button, and it'll take you to the charitable arm of the UN Human Rights Organization. And there, you can donate to the many causes that they support, ranging from climate change to women's rights and migration. And get this is so exciting. IBM will match up to $100,000 in donations to UN Human Rights from today, October the 13th, until the end of the day, October 14th, 2020. So please get in there and donate now. No donation is too small. Well, I've made my career as a meteorologist, but I've also been exposed to the world of developers, and that's why it's such an honor to be here with you tonight. Last February, I was privileged to be one of the keynote speakers at JFocus 2020 in Sweden, and it was there that I was trying to pump everybody up for the conference and introduce them to big weather tech and talk, of course, about the role they play in supporting digital media, with an example being my team's videos on the Weather Channel app. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I also got to tell them about Call for Code, and a lot of them had never heard of it before. So really, as I think about it, I think that any of our finalists tonight would just be wonderful speaker choices for next year's JFocus 2021, which will happen in February, or speaking at 48 and 48, which is another group that I just spoke to that helps build websites for nonprofits. And, you know, these are all things about celebrating tech for good. And that's why we're here tonight, because developers are just so open to learning from each other. And boy, can we learn a lot from tonight's finalists. All right, we had so many submissions, and out of those, we had 5 finalists emerge. And let's go ahead and meet them now. From Australia, Business Buddy. Wave, everybody. Oh, from the US, we have School List It. Also from the US, SafeQ. And from a truly global team whose members are from Brazil, India, Taiwan, and Mongolia, Agrily. And from Canada, Offship. Hi, everybody. Again, welcome. And congratulations to making it to the top 5. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the Business Buddy team, who developed a solution around COVID-19. This helps businesses keep up with the latest COVID-19 protocols and stay abreast of where they can go for financial relief. And this is so key to the moment. So guys, tell us exactly where you're at and who you're watching with.
Hi, so we're all at the University of Sydney, currently in Sydney, Australia. And it's just the 3 of us here. We've got a bunch of supporters in a room back there from the university faculty and other competitors. So it's really great time.
Well, it is before lunchtime for you guys. Can you tell everyone what time it is where you are?
Oh, it's just about 10, 10:15, something like that. So it's a nice time of the day, not midnight as we feared. So all good.
Well, what was your reaction when you found out you were one of the top 5 finalists? Everybody wants to know that.
I think, we were all shocked. I think we got the email and we saw it and we were like, hang on, what does this mean? read it again, kept on rereading it. Because we saw the red message at the top saying, top secret, don't tell anyone. So this is important. Then it finally clicked and we realized what we had achieved. And we were all amazed.
Well, I'm wishing you guys all the luck. I have confidence that anybody within this group can win this challenge tonight, and we are super excited to see what happens. Now, of course, since we're on the red carpet, we're going to be interviewing a lot more of our finalists coming up, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. But first, it's time to hear from some of the other partners who make Call for Code possible.
Hi, I'm David Clark, the CEO of David Clark Cause and the creator of Call for Code. Like all of us, I'm continually struck by the power of technology to impact the human condition, positively and, of course, negatively at times. However, its potential for good is where it really shines, and the people and organizations driving it are many of the most innovative and thoughtful minds on the planet today. So once I started looking at the developers, the change agents who actually create it, I had an idea. What if a global platform could be created to inspire developers everywhere to come together to take on the world's most pressing challenges? A Justice League for good, if you will. As they say, not all superheroes wear capes, but as we're learning, many of them code. The initial idea was pretty bold, but after securing support from the United Nations via UN Human Rights, a search began for a company who not only shared our vision, but already had a history of creating tech for good. For those reasons and many more, I'm proud to say IBM was the first choice to be founding partner of Call for Code. And after watching them move the initiative forward over the last 3 years around the world, it's an understatement to say Call for Code is grateful they answered the call. Today, Call for Code has evolved into a global tech movement, becoming the largest engagement of developers in history. With over 400,000 developers, innovators, and change agents from 179 countries to date, Call for Code is where industry and other thought leaders around the world turn to exchange ideas, scale innovation, and achieve the meaningful impact they're seeking. So, on behalf of everyone at Call for Code, thank you for supporting us and tuning in to see who will win the 2020 Call for Code Global Prize, and most importantly, the positive human impact they're creating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. For those of you just joining us, I'm Danielle Banks, your host for tonight's pre-show and post-show live from the virtual red carpet. Welcome to this global celebration of tech for good. We're here tonight to celebrate developers and problem solvers around the world, and of course, salute this year's top 5 finalists, one of whom will become the grand prize winner of the 2020 Call for Code Global Challenge. The initial focus of this year's challenge was on climate change, but then it quickly pivoted to include COVID-19 as the global pandemic impacted all of our lives. Back in March, once COVID-19 became a global pandemic, we all remember how the rumors just abounded. There were questions. How long do the molecules remain airborne? How long do they live on surfaces? Are masks effective? Should we all be wearing gloves? Is it really necessary to wipe down every item when we get back from the grocery store? But which were fact and which were myth? It was just so hard to separate fact from fiction because there was so much we just didn't know. So before we check in with another viewing party, let's go ahead and test our knowledge. Enjoy. And here's another interesting fact. Traffic in Milan actually dropped a staggering 84% due to COVID. We have more questions coming up in just a bit, but first, let's check in on another finalist viewing party. So how is everybody doing out there? I know you're so excited. We are going to move on to one of our finalists from the US, SafeQ. Welcome. You gotta tell us who you are with this evening, who's cheering you on. You got quite the crowd behind you.
I know. We're so glad to be here. This is my wife, Marie, my daughter, Nicole, her boyfriend, Jay. And on FaceTimes, we have my sister-in-law, Karen, and my other daughter, Cindy, in Colorado. Wave, Cindy.
So
here.
your
It's so wonderful.
solution, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Your solution is an app that was developed in response to the social distancing lines that have become all too familiar outside of stores. And the app allows you to wait in line online in a virtual queue. So I'm sure you had a lot of ideas, but I'm wondering how you settled on that one.
Well, to be honest, it was one that I thought I was thinking about long before I got involved with Call for Code. And really, it came down to, I think I could solve this. I think I know what to do to make this work. And, the first thing to solving a problem is thinking you know how to solve it. And I thought I did. So that was really how I settled on that.
So you got to fill us in on your reaction when you found out that you were one of the top 5 finalists.
Yeah, like others, I was shocked, and to some extent, I wasn't expecting the email. I wasn't sort of keeping track of time, and it came in. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I can't believe it!" I immediately went and told my wife. Said, "Hey, look, read this email. Tell me it says what I think it says." That's her.
So adorable. Your family is so cute. What are you most looking forward to tonight?
Oh, I just seeing. I'm looking forward to the entertainment, to the speakers, to seeing all the other finalists. This is the first time I've actually get to see them moving, which is kind of cool, talking, and that's awesome. So that's pretty much. It seems like a great show altogether. So I'm looking forward to every part of it.
Great. Well, we are going to be checking in with more finalists in just a few minutes, but first, let's go ahead and check in with some of the other partners who make Call for Code possible.
We at Persistent are thrilled to be a sponsor for Call for Code 2020. Persistent Systems has been a supporter of Call for Code since its inception, and over the years have had hundreds of our employees participate. We strongly believe in the mission of Call for Code and utilizing the power of technology to really better our communities. This is especially true this year with the hardships of COVID-19, and we have increased our giving to key charities. This year, over 150 of our employees participated in the Call for Code hackathon. We had 7 teams that submitted creative solutions from social distancing to remote education and combined with the technology capabilities of machine learning, AI, and VR. We're thrilled that one of our submissions will be deployed with the Ronald McDonald House Charities. I want to thank the Call for Code team for creating such a unique and meaningful organization, and Persistent Systems is excited to be part of that mission.
Call for Code is a global platform for innovative technology solutions to address the world's problems, and Arrow Electronics is a global company devoted to technology solutions. So the fit was obvious from the very beginning. Our experience from the very first year has been very positive, and it's grown every year since. We've watched so many exciting new innovators come to the fore and become part of the global solution through Call for Code. We've learned a lot. We've met new people. We've created new opportunities for Arrow. It's everything we hoped it would be.
Yeah, so I think my advice is that this is number one, it's just a tremendous time to innovate as developers and technologists. There isn't a sort of an environment, given of course all the tragic elements of COVID-19. Perhaps what's come out of it is this the sense that we can be united in very, very meaningful ways through technology, and technology is in many ways the heart of the answer.
An amazing ecosystem making such an impact. For those of you just joining us, I'm Danielle Banks, your host for tonight's pre-show and post-show, live from our virtual red carpet. Welcome to this global celebration of Tech for Good. We're so glad you're here. We have a wonderful show that is coming up. The awards are going to be hosted by CNN's Van Jones, and we'll have more about Van just a little bit later. But we also have some very special guest speakers, entertainment, and a message from IBM CEO Arvind Krishna, and lots more. Now, once the pandemic hit, the Call for Code team quickly made the decision to expand that challenge to include solutions around COVID-19. And prior to that, as we've been mentioning, the focus was on one of the most pressing and urgent challenges of our time, climate change. Of course, we have all read about it. We have witnessed it. It seems hardly a day goes by without a news headline that is in one way or another related to climate change. I report on this weekly on weather.com and the Weather Channel app. But we've also seen the statistics, and they are just staggering. And here's a chance to test your knowledge. To me, that last statistic is really the most sobering. I mean, potentially 2 billion people at risk of having reduced access to fresh water. As many of you saw, the news coverage earlier this year, a historic drought in India caused literally hundreds of villages to be deserted after residents fled in search of water. And then the same thing happened in Somalia due to a below average rainfall. So, as our final round of questions is coming up in just a little bit, we'll talk more about that. But first, let's check in on a couple more of our finalist viewing parties. Everybody is so pumped up. We hope you're having fun out there. We've got our next finalist for you. Agrily. And our spokesperson for Agrily is in New York this evening. This team developed a solution around climate change that helps farmers assess their climate risk related to rainfall and temperature. Thank you so much for joining us. Where exactly in New York are you, and who's watching and rooting you on tonight?
I'm in New York City, downtown, and I'm with my family over here. And also, our team come from different countries such as Brazil, India, Mongolia, and Taiwan. So we have friends and family watching the show and cheering for us from all around the globe tonight. Hi, everyone.
Well, I can tell that you are absolutely beyond over the top excited to be a finalist. I think, everybody gets that. And I know that your team members literally span across the globe, including India, Taiwan, and Mongolia. And we have them standing by. Hello, everybody. Oh, gosh, you guys all developed this solution during the middle of a pandemic. I mean, I have to ask, have you ever met face to face?
Yes, we were all students at State University when we met. Ajinka, Chimika, and I had already done other projects together, and we have a desire to do something good for our country. So we got together and built Agroli. And then Ellen came later when we need someone with web development skills.
So, how are you planning on celebrating tonight if you win? Gotta ask that.
Zoom meeting, drinking with my team.
Well, we are wishing everybody tonight the best of luck. And for those of you who are just now joining us, I'm Danielle Banks, and we are coming to you live from the virtual red carpet at Call for Code. And tonight we celebrate all of the developers, problem solvers around the world, and of course, a special salute to our top 5 finalists, one of whom, which will become the grand prize winner of this year's challenge. We, of course, have a wonderful show coming up for you, including performances from the multiple Grammy Award-winning Soweto Gospel Choir, as well as Rivers Cuomo from the band Weezer. And this is all hosted by CNN commentator and host of The Van Jones Show, Van Jones. We do want to take a moment to check in with our next finalist, and this team recognized that the growth of online shopping, of course, led to an increase in shipping and carbon-based combustion. We are all getting stuff delivered to our houses almost, in some cases, every day, and this team decided to do something about it. So for more, let's head up to Canada and meet the Offship team. Welcome. You got to tell us exactly where in Canada you are and who's rooting you on tonight.
Right. So I'm coming in from Montreal, Canada, in the borough of Verdun, which was actually just ranked 11th coolest neighborhood in the world. So that's pretty fun. We're getting lots of recognition here. Montreal, Canada. And we're celebrating with people virtually, of course, in this situation that we're all living through. So I have friends and family, colleagues as well, all tuning in virtually to participate in the celebrations this evening.
Well, I know that there are other team members and you couldn't all be together this evening, but we do have them standing by. Hello.
Hello.
I know you're excited. And of course, we got to ask what your reaction was when you found out that Offship had made it to the top 5. Was there an element of surprise there?
There certainly was. We were in disbelief. We got the email quite late in the night. And of course, the first thoughts were disbelief. But then just tossing and turning all night, being like, wow, I can't believe these are real. This is something that's really happening. And we were so excited about our project and
So I
working
have to ask, and I
together. And
apologize, I'm having a little trouble hearing you guys, but has your team been able to work face to face, or has it all been virtual?
we've worked together in the past face to face, but this year we've had to work virtually. So most of the efforts were all done virtually.
And what are you most looking forward to tonight?
We're most looking forward to just celebrating good success in a bunch of technology projects, hearing out creative thinking and putting technology to solve world problems. So I think this is a great celebration for all of those reasons.
All right. Well, have a wonderful evening, relax, and we're going to see you after the show because we're going to be checking in with our last finalist in a few minutes, and our award show is coming up. But first, it's time for our final round of questions. So one of the recurring themes that you'll hear tonight is the size and the scope of the ecosystem and its importance. And it's the ecosystem that is so vital in helping to make sure these solutions are actually deployed in the field. So let's go ahead and check in with some of the other partners who make Call for Code possible.
We're facing some huge challenges, not just in the US, but globally. And if you can be part of something that can make a difference or help people make a difference, it'd be foolish to not be. And you should jump at the chance to be part of this.
One of the core fundamental values that HERE believes is in giving back. And as part of that giving back initiative, it was fantastic to collaborate with IBM and be the choice of partner for everything location related. And as part of that, we were more than happy, and hopefully we contributed a lot to our customers, developers, and everyone together working within the Call for Code initiative. One of the fundamental things that we gained by participating with Call for Code is helping developers understand and harness the power of location in making the world a better place.
One of our major core values here is we like to give back to the community. So when we had an opportunity to sponsor or be a sponsor for Call for Code Global Challenge, we took it as a great opportunity to see like the innovation and the commitment that these developers have brought to the table, building out their solutions to help battle some of the most pressing challenges of our time. To see the kind of solutions that are coming out, they're creating real solutions, things that can change lives and actually have a lasting impact on the world. So it was somewhat breathtaking. But I was amazed at a lot of the things I saw.
So the diversity in the applications, the diversity in the use cases, it has been just fantastic. And it's very impressive to see, that developer ingenuity come through in various shapes and forms in various applications.
Thanks to all the members of the ecosystem who have made so many deployments possible. Let's go ahead and check in on our last finalist viewing party. Hey again, everybody. Okay, we have to get to our last finalist, and we're running a little behind getting to showtime, but we have to feature you because this solution was designed to ease the challenges of remote virtual learning. Can you tell I've had to deal with that? Built by a parent for parents, it makes it easy to understand and track what assignments are due and when. And it was developed right here in the US. So let's check in with the creator of School Listed. Hi.
Hi, Danielle. How are you?
Oh, I know you're excited. You got to tell us who is rooting you on this evening. The inspiration, of course, was your kids.
Yeah, so I have 3 children, and 2 are remote learning. So they are at a watch party with my neighbor, and my husband actually just popped out to get me some popcorn so I can watch the show with popcorn. So I have so many people supporting me, actually all over the world. My team members at MSP Media are staying up at crazy hours of the night to root me on. So I'm honored by all of the support I've been given.
So you got to tell us what your reaction was when you found out you were one of the top 5 finalists.
I think it was the same as everyone else. I mean, I got the email and I sort of went, And then I called over my son who's 11, so he's 5th grade. And I said, no, read this to mama and make sure I read it right. And so he's like, Mama, I think this says you won. And I was like, wow, let's go find daddy. So we had to walk across the street and put the baby in the stroller and like round up the dog. And so once we finally got over to my husband, then I was like, okay, now you read this. And he said, yeah, Meg, this means that you're being honored among the top 5 global winners. And I thought, what an honor. What an honor.
All right, Miss Meg, we will check in with you in just a little bit. Of course, we are looking forward to celebrating all of our finalists, and we really hope that you enjoy the show. We're having a wonderful time this evening, and we certainly are glad that you are here. We're, of course, going to be right back after the main show to check in with our 5 finalists and go behind the scenes to get all of their reactions. For those of you just joining us, I'm Danielle Banks. Welcome to the 2020 Call for Code Awards, a global celebration of tech for goods. Coming up, the awards program, well, it's about to begin, and we definitely have a great show lined up for you. IBM CEO Arvind Krishna is going to be here. We've got Chelsea Clinton, the founder of Call for Code, David Clark, Laurent Savieux from the UN Human Rights, and amazing entertainment from the Grammy Award-winning Soweto Gospel Choir, along with the frontman for the band Weezer, Rivers Cuomo. I'm so excited for all of this. And of course, your host for the awards portion of the program, Van Jones. And don't forget to donate now, whatever you can, really, by clicking on the tab on the right side of your screen. IBM will match up to $100,000 in donations to UN Human Rights from today, October 13th, until the end of the day, October 14th, 2020. All right, so now the time has come for me to tell you a little bit about your host. You may know Van Jones from CNN, where he's a political commentator and host of The Redemption Project and The Van Jones Show. In addition, he's a social entrepreneur and CEO of Reform Alliance. He's also a New York Times best-selling author, including The Green Collar Economy, an award-winning producer. He's won Emmys and has founded and led numerous enterprises engaged in social and environmental justice. The Dream Corps is an organization that brings people together to solve America's toughest problems. And its major initiatives include #YesWeCode, aimed to help young people from underrepresented backgrounds find success in the tech sector. #Cut50, an initiative focused on making communities safer while reducing the number of people in our prisons and jails. and Green for All, which advances environmental solutions that prioritize families and workers living on the front lines of some of the worst pollution in America. So I'm going to be back after the main show. We've got an encore musical performance from Rivers Cuomo, plus again, a behind the scenes interview with the winners and of course our finalists and the polling questions that are going to give you a voice in Call for Code 2021 and lots more. So stay with us and enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Van Jones, and I'm going to be your host for this evening's Call for Code 2020 Awards. It's a global celebration of tech for good, which we need. Now, for some of you guys who are just joining us, I want to welcome you here. No question, looking back, 2020 is going to be seen as a year of massive change. It's one that challenged everybody to address multiple massive social issues at the same time. You start off with that deadly Australian set of bushfires. It just showed the connection between climate disaster, between natural disaster and climate change. You couldn't deny it anymore. You had the rapid emergence of this COVID-19 pandemic, which is a plague on the whole planet. And then you had the fight for racial justice, which became this global phenomenon after the tragic killing of George Floyd. Now, global challenges like this call on each and every person to come together for global solutions, like the ones that we're creating right here through Call for Code. Now, I believe in the power of technology to change lives for good. I know it, I've seen it with my own eyes, and to help us meet the world's challenges, you need technology, and that's really why I'm here. It's why I helped to create the Dream Corps Tech. It's a national program. We're cultivating future leaders and entrepreneurs from underrepresented backgrounds to create a pipeline of diverse talent that's going to shift the whole culture of the tech sector and also make sure that the tech industry is a lot more inclusive. That's why I created Yes We Code. That's a national initiative to get about 100,000 low opportunity young people trained to be the best computer coders in the world and create real change and drive real change for the future. And that's why I love Call for Code. You know, it's become an important platform for real change and real progress. Call for Code it's global. It's a multi-year initiative. It's challenging developers and problem solvers everywhere to roll up their sleeves to solve these pressing global issues with sustainable open source software as a solution. Now, this thing has got a big, good pedigree because it was founded by a genius, David Clark Cause. He did it in partnership with the United Nations Human Rights and also with IBM. So you get those forces together. This year, participants were challenged to build solutions around the impact of both COVID and climate change. So the virus and this global climate crisis. Tonight, we are going to celebrate the contributions from developers and change makers from all around the world who answered that call for solutions. And of course, we're going to salute the top 5 finalists and find out who the grand prize winner is going to be to this year's challenge. Now in year 3, the Call for Code challenge has literally just grown exponentially. In fact, this year, there were 8 times the number of submissions as in 2018, just 2 short years ago. and the response of the developer community has just been amazing. And so we want to say thank you for your passion, for your commitment, for the difference that you're making. We've also got a great show coming up, including not only the announcement of our grand prize winner, but we have a lot of special guests for you. You're going to hear from several Call for Code Challenge judges. Vice Chair of the Clinton Foundation, Chelsea Clinton herself is here. Also, the UN Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights, Laurent Savor, he's also here. We're going to have some entertainment for you, not just talking. There's going to be some incredible music, including performances from 2 Grammy Award-winning artists. From South Africa, you're going to be joined by the amazing, beautiful Soweto Gospel Choir, one of my favorites, and from the band Weezer, Rivers Cuomo is going to be joining us. There's also a very special announcement coming up about how Call for Code is evolving to address issues of racial justice, certainly one of the most pressing and urgent issues of our time, something I care about deeply and personally and passionately. And you know, the world is facing just enormous global interconnected challenges. And having UN human rights as a charitable partner for us, it just gives a huge opportunity for everybody to get involved. So we want to encourage you to use your click, okay? Click on the Donate Now button, which is on your screen. That button will take you to the United Nations Human Rights site. And that's where you can put your money where your mouth is. You can put your dollars to work for good by donating on that site to incredibly important causes they support, everything from climate change, sustainable development, women, children's issues. It's all there. You can help them. Also, IBM is going to match up to $100,000 in donations to UN Human Rights from today, October 13th, until October 14th, 2020, end of the day. So you have a chance to double your money, double your good by going to that website. And we just want to hear from you. The Call for Code team wants your input. They want to know what you're thinking about. So on events, activities, stuff that you like to see in the coming year, at any time during the program, you can just take a minute and respond to the poll questions. You're going to see them on the left side of your screen. Just highlight the response that you want, then click and submit. Make your voice heard. All right. Now, while IBM became a founding partner of Call for Code 3 years ago, the idea of tech for good is something that IBM has been advocating for a very, very long time. And for more on that, here's IBM CEO Arvind Krishna.
Welcome to everyone watching the 2020 Call for Code Awards. I'm Arvind Krishna. IBM is deeply proud to be a founding partner of Call for Code. We have long believed in the power of people and technology to improve humanity, and in the importance of working openly so everyone can benefit from the best ideas. These are the driving forces behind the remarkable success of Call for Code. The ability to extract value from data safely, at scale, has led to amazing new possibilities. Innovative problem solvers can leverage the power of open code as never before, not just to transform industry, but to help society. As a proof point, since 2018, when Call for Code began, more than 400,000 of you from around the world have taken part. In the first 2 years, you brought leading-edge solutions to the challenge of natural disaster response. This year, we asked you to take on unprecedented dual challenges. First, the systemic issue of climate change. And then in March, after a global pandemic hit us, how to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. You showed up in extraordinary numbers. The number of submissions increased 6 times over last year. And I congratulate the winners of this year's competition. And I commend everyone who submitted ideas. Once again, you've shown the world the incredible power of tech for good. And we all know that technology has a vital role to play in solving the world's challenges. IBM has adapted many of our leading solutions to help address social problems, and we have made them available to the global development community. Call for Code represents another incredibly promising frontier for this innovation. It's a call to action for the world's 24 million developers and data scientists. Yes, 24 million of you, and many of you are responding. You use open technologies, AI, blockchain, IoT, cloud. You have designed ways to make emergency communication networks more resilient. How to detect earthquakes sooner, protect firefighters, enhance remote education for school children, and many, many more. IBM will continue to do everything possible to strengthen this movement. We have a long-standing commitment to open source technologies and the ecosystems that they support, built on our historic partnership with the Linux Foundation. We want to make innovation accessible to anyone. Let me close by recognizing many partners who have made Call for Code a unique and impactful technology platform. The David Clark Cause, the United Nations Human Rights, the Linux Foundation, along with the whole ecosystem of nonprofits, enterprises, and universities that are so crucial to its success. IBM is proud to work alongside you. And to everyone who answered the call this year, thank you for your passion, your innovation, and for all you do to make this a safer and better world.
Thanks, Arvind. See, I told you, look, they really believe in this stuff. Tech for good has been embodied in IBM's DNA for a very long time, and it shows. And when you got a global community of over 400,000 people, Call for Code is clearly doing something right. And part of the answer, part of the reason lies in the fact that the solutions aren't just filed someplace in a drawer once they come in. Thanks to this big ecosystem around this whole initiative, many of these ideas are actively being deployed right now in the field all around the world. And deployment is something you're going to hear a lot about tonight. It's so core for us. And you're going to start with the winner of last year's challenge, Prometeo. So here's an overview of their solution, along with an update on what that team has been doing since their big win last year.
Each firefighter wears a small device with multiple sensors that recollect all this data and send to the Prometeo platform that, with Watson capabilities, retains the health status.
This is a microcontroller that has Wi-Fi capabilities for smoke detection and temperature and humidity sensor. Both are sent via Wi-Fi to the internet and obviously to the cloud of IBM in this case.
Winning Call for Code was amazing, but it's true that after celebration in New York, when we returned to Spain, we thought, well, now is our turn to make the dream reality.
One great thing that we did in Oliveira is to ask the firefighters the feedback from the field test that we do with the device, and we had a lot of information about how they use it, and we integrated these changes in the new version that we are developing right now.
Now, Prometeo wasn't the only deployment this year. In fact, far from it. There are numerous other deployments that are taking place all around the world, including Grio. Now, Grio is based in Mexico City, and that is the epicenter of a whole bunch of earthquakes. So, this team came up with an earthquake early warning system that can let people know to get out of a building before the shaking even starts, and ultimately save a whole bunch of lives. Now, typically, a system like this would cost billions of dollars. So that means they're only available to like a select handful of governments. But now they're open to everybody, open to all. The runner-up of the first challenge, Build Change, was born out of the utter devastation from major earthquakes in developing countries. This one was looking at the problem of homes and buildings and structures. With homes severely damaged or completely destroyed, how do you quickly analyze their structural integrity determine if they're sound enough to repair, or if not, build some new homes that are much more resilient and resistant to disaster. Using dynamic artificial intelligence and visual recognition, they developed a solution that could automate the checks, okay, of these different buildings and get displaced folks back into their homes sooner. But they also went way beyond that. Build Change now designs disaster resistance homes and schools. These are homes and schools that are resistant to disaster in the first place, and they're in emerging nations. What they do, they train local people. This is above and beyond. They train the local builders, the homeowners, the engineers, the government officials, get them working together to build new homes. End result, safer housings for everybody, safer lives for everybody. And also, as COVID-19 swept across the planet, developers once again answered the call. They once again stepped forward. Now, you know the drill. You head off to the grocery store or the hardware store or your favorite retailer, and you got to socially distance with these lines that are marked by circles and X's. One developer said, hold on a second, why physically wait in the line? Can't we do something better than that? His solution, queue up in line online without leaving your car. And then when you reach the front of the virtual line, you get an alert on your phone, get a ping there, and then it's already been tested. You can just go. It's already been tested by multiple retailers. It's a smarter way to wait in line. There's no social distancing that's even needed. These are the kind of solutions that folks are coming up with. So the pandemic affected virtually every industry, including live events and entertainment. What's that? That's theater, opera, concerts, even choirs. Everything was just shut down practically overnight. And the choir that's about to perform is no exception. Now, from South Africa, they were shut down at their homes until very, very recently. And that's when restrictions eased enough that they could get together and start singing together again, but this time socially distanced on stage. Now, this group was formed to celebrate the inspirational power of African gospel music and to share that music with audiences all around the world. They're going to do it again. Here's the world-renowned, Grammy Award-winning Soweto Gospel Choir.
Sorrow, but if we are
Now that was amazing. Always unbelievable, beautiful stuff. The Soweto Gospel Choir is going to be back with another performance a little bit later in the program. That's reason enough to stay, but we got more for you than that. One of the submissions in this year's challenge was also focused on choirs. A developer in the UK whose 9-year-old daughter was missing performing with her school choir wondered what would it take for them to form a virtual choir and perform that way. So the recording process is fairly straightforward. Each choir member sings along to a musical or click track while recording on different devices, and then they upload their video. The editing process, however, is not so simple. It requires somebody to manually sync and edit all the video clips together. That's really, really hard. But what if you could use AI, specifically Watson, to sync the videos for you? The result? Choirless. Choirless. It's a web-based platform that is now in its beta testing. So here's a demonstration. Take a look. Now, Choirless also has potential applications that extend even into our post-COVID world, allowing musicians and singers to collaborate virtually from anywhere in the world, really no matter where they are. So Call for Code solutions, that stuff comes from all around the world. This is beautiful stuff from all around the world. And not just for developers, coders, it's people from all walks of life, including data scientists, thought leaders. Basically, this is a community for problem solvers. And in fact, some of the best solutions over the years have just come from students. And that's where the Call for Code Challenge University Edition comes in. This is a program that's run in partnership with the Clinton Global Initiative. It's called CGIU, the Clinton Global Initiative University. And it's committed to inspiring students to harness emerging open source technologies and to develop solutions for the world's greatest challenges. For more on the program and to introduce and announce this year's University Edition Award winner, the Vice Chair of the Clinton Foundation herself, Chelsea Clinton.
Hello, everyone. It is my honor to join you for the exciting announcement of this year's University Edition Grand Prize winner, as we are in the midst of tackling some of the most pressing issues of our time. Now, more than ever, the scope and urgency of the issues we're encountering demand diverse perspectives and expertise, which is why we've partnered with IBM for the second year to advance university efforts. This year, we wanted to do more to encourage students to get actively involved in Call for Code as we tackle the world's reaction to COVID-19 and climate change. As a result, we launched a dedicated university edition within Call for Code. Reaching over 53,000 students from more than 45 countries in 2020, we saw a tremendous and inspiring movement of young people investing their time and talent. Now, what you've all been waiting for, let's dig into the awards. This year's runner-up provides a simple way for small businesses to continue to find customers digitally in the local community. And where food isn't sold, offer a way for it to be distributed to local charities and food banks. The solution utilizes IBM blockchain and IBM Kubernetes services. And the award goes to Lupe from University of Wolverhampton in the UK. Congratulations on this incredible achievement and the opportunity to interview for a potential role at IBM. On college campuses today, masks and social distancing cannot be actively monitored, especially in large crowded areas. The ability to predict, measure, and avoid high traffic areas can make college campuses safer and save lives. Leveraging a machine learning neural network deployed through IBM Watson Studio and an SQL database hosted on the IBM cloud, a worldwide team comprised of members from India, Turkey, and Japan developed an application that can provide users and administrators with recommended routes of travel that avoid heavily trafficked areas. This safe routing system utilizes computer vision and location data to estimate the number of people in a given area up to 97% accuracy. And without further ado, get your virtual clapping ready for this year's grand prize winner, PandaMap from University of California, Berkeley. Congratulations to the team on receiving this prestigious honor, featuring a grand prize of $10,000, along with the opportunity to interview for a potential role at IBM. As you can see, the passion, collaboration, and innovation in our students is what will help unite and propel our society forward. Thank you to everyone who answered the call with us in this groundbreaking initiative to make an immediate impact in your local communities and across the world.
So, Chelsea always does a great job, and she was talking about the role that universities play. But companies also play a really vital role. And to tell us more about that and to announce the winners of this year's Ecosystem Engagement Awards, please join me in welcoming Bob Lord. How you doing, Bob? It's good to have you here. I want to start with this Academic Engagement Award and their involvement with Call for Code.
Hey, thank you, Van. I'm so happy to be here. This has been an incomparable year, and tonight we have a chance to step back and celebrate of all the people that have done all this great work. So let's get to it. First, I'm really excited to recognize the University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez as the winner of the Academic Engagement Award. This team have continued to engage and deploy in Call for Code solutions like our 2018 winner, Project OWL. Students have consistently participated in this year's challenge, so congratulations to the entire team at the University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez. Congratulations.
Now, how about the Corporate Engagement Award?
This award is presented to organizations that have leaned into Call for Code. Employee participation in the global competition and the challenge, support of additional spot challenges through the year, and then probably most importantly is the commitment to deploying top solutions. So Van, this year's Corporate Engagement Award goes to 5 companies: Cognizant, Morgan Stanley, Anthem, ICBC, and Infosys. They're all global companies. So let me tell you a little bit about each of them. At Anthem, the Anthem SVP, Rajiv Ranki, was part of our eminent judging panel. Anthem selected a project from this panel that he was on, and then they worked with us, Beacon Health and Empowerment Alliance, on a spot challenge to address and implement the issues that are facing challenges with COVID patients from a mental health issue. So just sort of an enormous thing, judge being on a panel and then leaning in harder and actually taking one of those solutions and helping us implement and market. The second company, Cognizant, really was around the developers showcasing their innovation and technology skills. They had over 140 teams submitted. 3 teams were named regional finalists, right? This is just out of one organization. When we talk about these 24 million developers in the world, they're all over the place and they're looking to figure out how to use their skills on the weekends and at night, and this is actually giving them a great outlet to do it. The third company is ICBC, and they encourage their developers to make a difference specifically around COVID. There were 3 teams, were regional finalists from China, and we focused a spot challenge specifically on COVID. Like, people didn't know what the information was, Van, as you can understand, what to do, where to go, and we provided these developers with tools and technologies and information that they could actually make into some kind of solution. So ICBC really leaned in hard there. And then Infosys, they held their internal challenges for all their own developers. And they actively pursued solutions that were built that could make a difference. And they actually took the solution, and now they're actually making it, not only putting it in the open source world, but they're making it into a product that they can bring to their customers specifically around COVID. And then Morgan Stanley built their own commitment to do good. They went all in on Call for Code this year. Developers from 9 countries participated. So when you look at all of this, the activation that happened just on year 3 of this journey, congratulations to Cognizant, Morgan Stanley, Anthem, ICBC, and Infosys. It's kind of amazing.
No, it's really extraordinary. And, there's so much bad news. I mean, it's so depressing. And you realize there's so much good that's happening. There's way more good people than bad people. And, we just don't get enough attention. You don't give enough credit and recognition to people who are doing great. And that's why I love this whole deal, and what we're doing here tonight and what we're doing with this award. Now, listen, Arvind, early on, he mentioned that these open source partnerships. Open source, what is that? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so what's so important about this whole program is it's great to get a solution in place. But if you don't put it in the open source world, you can't get the scale, okay? And IBM has had a long-standing commitment to open source technologies in the ecosystems. You may have recognized about a year ago, we had an acquisition of a company called Red Hat that actually really solidified our position in the open source world. So therefore, we're at a unique position to actually take these solutions and partner with the Linux Foundation, and once they're hard-coded to a certain degree, put them into the open source community. So think about it this way, Van. A developer team that has a great idea in Puerto Rico around sort of mitigating the challenges with hurricanes, someone in Osaka, Japan, or anywhere around the whole globe can go into this open source community, they can take that solution, and they can implement it locally for themselves. Number one, it helps to accelerate innovation, timelines, and it really starts to now get at the fabric of how do we take a solution to get at really getting at the fundamental changes we need to solve systemic problems around the world. So open source is a way call for code projects basically work. It's the way that they can scale, and it's the way that they can move forward. They can be customized and localized anywhere, and it's quite honestly, it's a community that just wants to come together. 2020 Challenge has generated over 15,000 solutions built using combination of open source powered products and technologies. So I feel really, really good about where we are. It's gratifying for us at IBM to see how the broader technology community comes together, unified in purpose to make a tangible difference in the lives of so many.
Well, I think the whole thing's amazing, and the global challenge. That's a really big focus, and you got a big prize there. On the one hand, people like to solve problems. Money helps. You're going to put $200,000, $200,000 on the table for the winner. Now, after we announce the winner, which is coming up pretty shortly, do things just quiet down until you announce the next year's? Tell me what happens going forward.
Yeah. So the first thing is we announce the winner. They have a $200,000 prize. IBM, the Linux Foundation, and our other partners help to support to deploy it. That's probably most important, right? But we're going to evolve the platform this year to an always-on tech for good platform. As you can appreciate, and you talk about it all the time on your shows, is 2020 has shown us that we have no shortage of challenges in this world, right? And what I see out of this 24 million strong community of developers and data scientists is they want to lean in and they want to help. And if we can use the open source world to take those great ideas and scale them across the globe, we're all in. So I'm really, really excited about where we are, and I want to thank you for sort of sponsoring and being part of this with us tonight.
Well, look, it's exciting to me, and the idea that you're going to have always on. It's not going to be an annual thing now. It's going to be 365 days a year, 366 on leap year. We love that. We need that. I want to thank you, Bob, and we will see you in a few. This year, the judges evaluated solutions not only around COVID, which of course is a massive problem, massive issue, but for the original focus of the 2020 Challenge, which is climate change, this climate crisis. Now, it was almost a year ago that the city of Venice fell victim to historic flooding, at one point leaving 85% of the city underwater. Meanwhile, in India, hundreds of villages were left deserted after an unprecedented drought forced families to abandon their home and just trying to find food and water. And it just devastated the villagers' agricultural livelihood. Farms were destroyed. It was horrible. And Greenland is seeing greater loss of its ice cap than ever before, which experts say could result in a sea level rise of up to 4 feet by the end of this century. Now, 2019 was the second warmest year ever recorded and the end of the warmest decade ever recorded, period, That's the facts. That's science. Carbon dioxide levels and other greenhouse gases actually rose to new records. We're still polluting, still on the up curve. And the energy, that sector, that's the dominant contributor. About 60% of total greenhouse gas emissions come from the energy sector. What we know is that climate change is one of the largest, most systemic issues of our time. It's affecting every country on every continent, and it's disrupting economies and disrupting lives everywhere. That's why this year's Call for Code challenged applicants to help tackle the climate crisis. It also, frankly, it aligns with the 75th anniversary of the UN, the United Nations. That's an organization that strongly believes it's going to take a global network to fight this global climate emergency and do something about it. So here's more on the UN perspective from the Chief of External Relations for the UN Human Rights Office, Laurent Savor. He's been involved with this Call for Code since the very, very beginning.
It's an honor to be with you. I'm here because we at the United Nations are convinced that technology can be a crucial force for good, and we are the proud charitable partner of the Call for Code Global Challenge. The human implications of climate change are catastrophic. Storms are rising, and tides could submerge entire island nations and coastal cities. Fires rage through our forests. The ice is melting. We are burning up our future, literally, and everyone's human rights are or will be affected. The UN is facing huge challenges today. Like a tsunami that follows an earthquake, COVID-19 has set off waves of damage across economies and societies. Given the nature and scale of this crisis, we are struggling to assist national governments to protect their people's rights and lives. At the same time, hatred and isolationism are also spreading, a mindset that pits people against each other and kicks the poorest to the side of the road. Both COVID-19 and climate change demonstrate the failure of that mindset. If we do not come together, we cannot solve global challenges. We'll perpetuate them. This is why we need initiatives like Call for Code. This challenge mobilizes the global community of developers to address the world's most pressing issues. I would like to thank the creator of Call for Code, David Clark of David Clark Cause, IBM, its founding partner, and all the developers who answered the call. We need to work together, because when you're dealing with planet-wide disaster, working together is the only effective option. Thank you for your help. We are inspired by your dedication to make the world a better place.
Soon after the Call for Code Challenge opened, another global crisis emerged that made us expand the challenge. And that challenge was, of course, COVID-19, this horrible plague, this horrible pandemic. It was back in December that the first case of what was to become known as COVID-19 was even diagnosed. That was December. By the end of January, the World Health Organization had declared a global health emergency, and then just 6 weeks later, COVID-19 was officially declared a pandemic. So worst thing, a pandemic. So on April the 2nd, the number of global cases hit 1 million. 1 million, but as you know, that was just the beginning. By early August, that number would rise to over 19 million human beings impacted worldwide. Now, beyond the staggering death toll, the impact on everyday life around the world was unimaginable. Almost overnight, borders closed, planes were grounded, offices and schools closed, restaurants, cafes, theaters, all shuttered. You had deserted streets. There were states of emergency being declared all around the world. Supply chains were disrupted. Quarantines were put into effect. And then long lines to buy food and basic essentials became commonplace all around the world. Waiting in line for hours to get tested was also the norm. Now, these have been truly unprecedented times of tumultuous change, uncertainty, fear, economic turmoil, social unrest, and yet, throughout, the response of the global developer community has just been phenomenal, just phenomenal. With this kind of unwavering commitment to take on these challenges, work tirelessly, come up with real solutions that will blunt the impact, okay, and make everybody's life a little bit easier, a little bit better in the middle of all this. Which leads me to salute our top 5 finalists. So let's meet them now, okay? The agricultural industry is one of the most vulnerable to climate change because it just depends on rainfall, temperature, weather. So you got a truly global team with members from Brazil, India, Taiwan, Mongolia, developing a climate risk assessment solution which is intended to help farmers make smarter business decisions.
Farmers often face 2 challenging questions: what to plant and when to plant. Especially for those small farmers located in the emerging markets, even the poor access and poor resources information. The farmers will need sophisticated data analysis to manage the crop planning, to improve the decision making and increase yield production.
Because of COVID-19, small businesses are facing unprecedented economic disruption and hardship and suffering, okay? And on top of that, they got to keep up with the latest protocols so they can stay abreast of where they can go for financial relief, all kind of stuff. So we have a team that's based in Australia. It developed a business buddy to help them.
Because due to the current COVID-19 situation, the small businesses are really impacted due to the restrictions.
Governments kind of expect users and individuals generally to seek and research and look after things by themselves. And so I think by providing this platform, we're really closing that gap and really getting rid of this major pain point. So when you first log onto the platform, you're prompted by our business buddy, which is essentially powered by our IBM Watson Assistant. And it prompts just a few simple questions about your small business, and all these different resources are taken straight to the user.
In the wake of this pandemic, in a lot of countries, virtual learning has become the norm. Now, this solution, built by a parent for parents, makes it easy to understand and track what assignments are due for your kids and when they're due. It's also an open platform so that teachers and others can join in. It's called School Listed, and it was developed in the United States of America.
As remote learning becomes more a part of our everyday lives, School Listed can pull it all together. School Listed is a place to put a to-do list tied to a date, build lessons, and check them off when you're done. Each child gets an individual learning plan for each day, and they can check it off as they go. Think of School Listed as just the starting point and the tip of the iceberg to something that could grow into an amazing global system for local developers to solve local problems.
The advent of online shopping marked a major shift in consumer retail practices. It's also led to an increase in shipping and carbon-based combustion. Enter OffShip. It's a solution developed by a team in Canada. It monitors items in your shopping cart and estimates their carbon footprint and gives you a chance to counteract some of that by donating to carbon offset credits, and that lets you support a charity of your choice.
I think what we've seen, COVID-19 hitting us, there's a lot more online shopping that's being done in the world. Online shopping definitely makes purchasing easier, but there's also, a lot of emissions and environmental impact that go into our purchases.
OffShip is a Google Chrome extension which will notify you of the shipping cost to the environment in order for transportation to occur. So what we'd like to do is educate the average consumer on what those costs are and offer them an opportunity to offset their carbon credit.
And SafeQ is a solution that's already in the initial deployment phase already. It was created by a developer in the United States who, like a lot of us, had queued up outside of stores while social distancing and thought, isn't there a better way to do this? So this is a simple app. It works using QR codes in your location to hold your place in line online while you wait nearby, say in your car. Then when it's your turn, you simply show your phone at the front of the line and gain access.
One of the key innovations of SafeQ is that it's based on your GPS location. There's no signups, there's no downloads, there's no advertising. It's completely anonymous. You simply have to show up at the business like you would have at any time. And then the business knows that you're in line and you can stay in your car or somewhere so safely around the business within 1,000 feet. And when it's time for you to come in, the business notifies you via the app and then you can go in.
Coming up, the moment we've all been waiting for, the announcement of the grand prize winner. But first, we got another performance from the world-renowned Soweto Gospel Choir. I love this group. I love their music. They've performed all around the world. They've collaborated with great artists like Peter Gabriel, Bono, Stevie Wonder, Queen Latifah, Celine Dion, Aretha Franklin, Eddie Vedder, and Annie Lennox. The choir is also an ambassador for Nelson Mandela's 46664 campaign, which helps to raise global awareness for HIV and AIDS. And they founded their own AIDS Orphans Foundation. Just an extraordinary force for good, a beautiful, beautiful bunch of people. Once again, the Soweto Gospel Choir. Look, if that didn't move you or touch you, you need a heart transplant. I love that stuff. One love, that's what it's all about. And now it's time to announce the runners-up and the grand prize winner. We've all been waiting for now. Just to remind you, the 4th and the 5th place winners get $10,000. That's a lot of money. Number 2 and 3, they get $25,000. But the grand prize winner gets $200,000. And that's not all. Everybody is going to get support from the Linux Foundation. Now, in partnership with Call for Code, they're going to get, that's going to provide this kind of deployment framework, help them build, fortify, test, and implement all of these open source projects so the whole world can have access to it. Big deal, big moments, what we've been waiting for. To do the honors, I'm going to bring my big, good friend back up here, Bob Lord.
Hey, thank you, Van. It's been a really exciting night. And I just would like to start by thanking all of those who submitted solutions for this year's challenge. And a special congratulations to our 5 finalists. With more submissions than ever before and so many excellent solutions with honestly so much potential, to make it into the top 5 is a remarkable achievement that everybody who participated should be really, really proud of. So this is a big moment for all of us. I've asked our partner and the creator of Call for Code to join me, David Clark, for the honor. Hey, David, how are you?
Good, how are you?
It's an exciting evening. It's been such a unique year in every respect, but you know, to our wonderment and surprise, maybe shouldn't be a surprise anymore, the global community really came through with some amazing solutions this year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Bob, and couldn't be prouder to be a part of this cause. It's been a phenomenal process. I actually never imagined 3 years ago that it would have grown into this enormous global community. And while it would be great to be together in person, it's so exciting to be able to showcase the solutions of our top 5 finalists and to celebrate the work of the global developer community with countless viewers around the world. I've been looking forward to this evening all year, as you can imagine.
All right, so let's get started, David.
All right, I'm happy to. So we've actually got our 5 finalists joining us this evening from their locations all over the world. Welcome, everybody. You all should be extremely proud of making it into the top 5, given the record number of submissions we received this year. Call for Code has grown to include more than 400,000 innovators and developers from 175 nations, resulting in more than 15,000 solutions that address humanitarian issues. Congratulations for rising to the very top, and thank you for answering the call. So, without further ado, let's find out which of you will be the 5th place team. Now, in addition to the cash prize and support from the Linux Foundation, each of tonight's finalists will receive IBM Cloud credits and will also be assigned a mentor. And the winner is, in 5th place from Canada, Offship. Congratulations, amazing work. Now, your innovation is really amazing to me since online shopping is now the norm. When we buy things, we all know the cost of shipping. Now, for the first time, we'll know the cost of the environment. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on to our 4th place winner. Which of these innovative solutions will be awarded 4th place in the 2020 Call for Code Global Challenge? And the winner is, one moment, in 4th place from the United States, School Listed. Congratulations. I have to say, as the father of a 7th grade daughter, we both struggle to keep our class schedule and homework on track. So we are very, very grateful for this innovation. Thank you so much. And now for our final 3 awards, I'm going to turn it back to you, Bob.
Okay, great, David. Thanks. And by the way, don't forget that all the finalists will be joining Danielle in our post show. So if you have a chance, and you'll have a chance to hear from them all. So now we're down to the 3 finalists. Our 2nd and 3rd place winners, as Van said, will each receive $25,000 cash prize along with all the support and resources that our finalists will receive really to get these solutions implemented. So let's go. Our 3rd place winner Now open the envelope. In 3rd place from the US is SafeQ. Congratulations, Dave. Fantastic. Congratulations. So Dave actually heard about our competition on a live broadcast with Lady Gaga asking people to join, and then pulled that thread all the way through, was inspired by his partner and wife to actually solution. So congratulations. Okay, so now we're down to two, one of whom will become our grand prize winner. So best of luck to both of you. And here's the moment we've all been waiting for. In second place, are you ready? The winner in second place is Business Buddy. Congratulations, from Australia. Fantastic, fantastic. You know, so your solution hit home so well because it was so complicated for businesses to figure out what rights they had and how to actually keep their businesses afloat. It was fantastic. So congratulations. And that brings us to our grand prize winner with a prize of $200,000. Congratulations to Agroli and the team that supported that really fantastic idea that's really going to help us out in our climate challenges. You've created a mobile application to help farmers make better decisions based on the changing climate needs. And one of the key reasons why you and your team won is that you built it up from the ground, working closely with your end users, farmers, the users that were going to be there. And I think you really went into some great in-depth research about what the needs were. So congratulations, and the usability of the app was fantastic. Well done. Congratulations.
So how does it feel to be the recipient of the 2020 Call for Code Global Prize?
Oh, we are so full of gratitude right now. I speak on behalf of Agrolis, me, Ajinkia, Tim, Canelli, my group over here. And Call for Code has been a wonderful opportunity that has impacted our lives since day one. We are so happy with that, for everything that has come to us.
Yeah, what was the motivation for your team to come together? Because you're actually a really expansive global team. You met. What was the real motivation behind joining Call for Code?
Yes, we come, most of us, from emerging countries, and we have a desire to help our countries and to do better decisions and help them, the people over there. So we were students at Pace University, and we sit together and we try to find a solution. And you know, the farmers, most of them, 80%, is built, the agriculture is built with small scale farmers. So this was, you know, a big decision for us and a big opportunity.
That's amazing. So what would you say, what would you tell our audience, what was the hardest part of this journey? And the second part of this question, what was the most rewarding?
I think the most challenging was the different time zones. We have, you know, people that was working in Mongolia, and also we have Ellen working in Taiwan. So putting all together, and we make a plan, we make everything. So this was the big challenge for us because we want to deliver the project in time. And the most effort was really helping people and the small scale farmers, because we come to them and ask what they want, and now we are delivering the solution. And Chimka, that is one of our team right now, she's going on the field and showing the farmers about the app and receiving feedback. So this is the most award things for us.
Well, actually, that's fantastic. And you know, the whole reason for Call for Code is just not about winning the competition, right? It's about implementing these solutions in markets. So I'm so glad to hear you say that you're already working with the farmers to implement it. We know last year's solution actually got into market within 6-month period. So what are your thoughts about deployment at scale about the app?
Yeah, we are right now making pilots in Mongolia, and we are right to do pilot in Brazil. So after we receive feedback from the field, we want to make a deployment in the whole Mongolia and Brazil, and also India as a first launching. So this is our plan.
Well, we're going to be there to support you to get that implemented through the system. So we'll love a report back next year, just like we did with last year's winner. So congratulations again to you and the entire team. We look forward to following the progress and supporting you. We'll see you after the show. Congratulations to everyone.
Well, I just want to add my congratulations to all the winners. You know, every human being who benefited from those applications, from those software solutions, are also winners. So there's no losers when it comes to this competition. And I also want you to know that we still have so much more to talk about, so much more to do. We've got a musical performance coming up you're not going to want to miss. And there is a very powerful special announcement that you're not going to want to miss coming right up. It's on a topic I care an awful lot about: racial justice.
Thank you, Van, and congratulations to all of the finalists. Your work and your passion are inspiring. As this program has illustrated, when we combine technology and talent, we have the power to drive meaningful change. And as 2020 has reminded us time and time again, our world needs change. Our survival requires it. I have the great fortune of leading the hybrid cloud and edge ecosystems at IBM. I also have a great responsibility as a leader within IBM's Black community, a community that sprang into action following the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and too many others, to demand and enact change. Call for Code inspired IBMers of all races and backgrounds and job functions to think about the role technology could play in driving progress towards a more inclusive, equal, and just world. We recognize technology alone cannot fix hundreds of years of racial injustice and inequality, but when you put it in the hands of the Black community and their allies, technology can begin to bridge the gap. The outcome has been nothing short of astounding. The outcome has given me hope. The outcome is a collection of open source solutions developers and problem solvers across IBM and Red Hat have created in less than 3 months. Solutions born out of a need to turn this critical moment in our history into a sustaining movement. IBM provides the tech, but in keeping with the principles of Call for Code, it takes an ecosystem to scale change. With that, today I am honored to announce Call for Code for Racial Justice. Call for Code for Racial Justice encourages the adoption, incubation, and evolution of open source projects to drive progress in 3 key areas. First, police and judicial reform and accountability. 2, diverse representation. And 3, policy and legislation reform. Next week, we will be launching starter kits for the initial technology solutions and will be releasing additional solutions over time. Your role, to the developers first. You have the skill set and the ingenuity to make a difference. Contribute to or use our open source projects once they're available. To the organizations and enterprises, you have the responsibility to make a difference to your employees and to the world. We hope you will commit to the cause to leverage technology to drive progress in combating systemic racism. And from IBM, you have our commitment to continue to listen, learn, and use technology ethically and responsibly. To say a few words on the increasingly important topic of bias in AI, please welcome IBM Fellow and AI Ethics Global Leader, Francesca Rossi.
Thank you, Evariscus.
Well, Francesca, thanks for joining. IBM is no newcomer to the discussion around bias in AI. In fact, we've been actively working to address the challenge for years through our research, the technologies we develop, and also the public policies that we advocate for. Can you share some examples and any advice you'd give to other companies and developers?
Thank you. So it's an honor to be here Indeed, IBM has been working on the many dimensions of AI ethics for a very long time. Since our principles of trust and transparency that we published in 2017, we have been working very hard to define the main pillars of our commitment to AI ethics, to operationalize such principles within the company, and to collaborate with many other stakeholders to define the best practices for a beneficial and inclusive AI. AI fairness is one of our main pillars, together with transparency, explainability, robustness, and data privacy. Addressing bias in AI requires technical AI solutions, of course, to detect and mitigate bias of various kinds in many different kinds of data, whether they are images, text, speech, or structured data. But even more importantly, it needs education and awareness initiatives for developers, diverse team composition, consultation with civil society organizations and the impacted communities to identify the most appropriate definition of fairness for the scenario where the AI system will be deployed, as well as the best way to resolve possible intersectionality issues. It also needs methodology, adoption, and governance frameworks to help developers revise their AI pipeline, as well as transparency and explainability tools to recognize the presence of bias and its impact on the AI system's decisions. Overall, all these dimensions define a value-driven approach to AI, where human values are at the heart, and AI is created to support such values. The ultimate goal is not to advance AI per se, but to advance human beings, of course, and our values through the use of technologies such as AI.
Thanks, Francesca. To that end, I will add that in early June, our CEO, Arvind Krishna, sent a letter to several members of Congress calling for specific policy action to advance racial justice reform in this country. In doing so, he also shared that IBM no longer offers general purpose IBM facial recognition or analysis software. So thank you, Francesca, for the important research your team are leading. This work was underway long before the tragic events this year reignited the national discussion around race, and they will continue moving forward as aggressively as ever. As global citizens, we must act now and be part of the tangible change that we want to see today and tomorrow and for generations to come. Commit to the cause. Join Call for Code for Racial Justice. The world is counting on you. The world is counting on all of us.
Wow, that's unbelievable. You know, you have no idea how many lives are going to be saved, how many communities are going to be uplifted based on what just got announced. I'm sure I speak for everybody when I'm saying how much I applaud IBM's commitment to racial justice. It's an issue needs to be addressed. We need to apply real genius against some of these problems. An issue I've been dedicated to for many, many years, and the events of the last few months have really only reinforced the urgency I think that everybody feels all around the world. So for all of us, we got to act now. Technology is another powerful tool in the arsenal. It can help us make real changes. We need people to get together on this. This call is going to make a tremendous difference. You know, it was over 6 months ago that the 2020 Call for Code Challenge first opened, and you see all the good that's come out of that. If you want to be a part of this, to understand more about what comes next and how you can get involved, here are some final thoughts from the general manager and the chief development advocate, IBM Digital Business Group, the good brother, Willie Tejada.
Thank you, Van, for hosting the 2020 Call for Code Awards tonight and doing such a remarkable job. Let me extend my own congratulations to Agrily as the recipient of the 2020 Call for Code Award, and to PandaMap for winning the University Award. Great job. And we'll be announcing winners from regional challenges in the coming weeks. We hope this evening has left you inspired to do more. If anything, the solutions highlighted tonight have shown us amazing amount of creativity and skill in the developer community. Look, this has been a tough year, but I know we can come out of it stronger than ever by leveraging the skill and resolve that we have as entrepreneurs, problem solvers, and coders to take on the world's greatest challenges with both speed and effectiveness. This year has shown us there are numerous challenges we need to address, some known and others unforeseen. Call for Code is quickly evolving into an always open tech for good platform because that is what our world demands. A platform that will enable us not just to generate ideas at an epic scale, but to deploy them in the field to ensure that they can have immediate positive impact on the world. Now it's your turn to make a difference. If you are a developer, you can contribute to Call for Code solutions today by adding code to the open source projects hosted by the Linux Foundation, or participate in one of the several ongoing challenges, including the Call for Code for Racial Justice that Everest has just announced. For organizations, a great way for you to get involved is by becoming a sponsor, partner, or affiliate of Call for Code. Scroll down to the 2020 Challenge Ecosystem section on your browser, click on the embedded link, and join us in supporting a global movement to fundamentally change the world for better with technology. We look forward to building and deploying together some of the potentially life-saving open source solutions you've seen during this celebration.
Thank you, Willie. What a big night. What a great night. Look, I now want to help to feed your soul with some music. It's my special pleasure to introduce our next musical guest. His band has sold more than 35 million records worldwide. 35 million. They won Grammys, MTV Music Video Awards, so many other awards throughout their career. And last year's cover albums have been streamed over 100 million times since the release, 100 million times in just a year. Now, he's known for using data, a data-driven approach to do songwriting. He's got this sort of self-professed love for programming. You're bringing together with this one act, love of music, love of people, love of technology, using algorithms and computer programs like Python. He dismantles these hit songs. He examines what works, and he applies that to his own work. So clearly, this guy's going to have a tremendous success and has had it. From the band Weezer, Rivers Cuomo.
Hey everyone, I wanted to say thanks IBM for having me on Call for Code. Happy to be sharing this space with coders and developers looking to do good in the world. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. When you're on a holiday, you can't find the words to say all the things that come to you. I wanna feel it too. On an island in the sun,
That's just beautiful. That's what you call data smart with a lot of heart. And by the way, Rivers is going to be performing another number in the post show, which follows this immediately. So you're going to want to stick around for that. He's just a genius, and I just love everything that he does. Now, this ends the portion of the awards program. Now, once again, don't forget you can actually help. You need to be a part of this. This doesn't stop here. It's got to keep going. You can click on the Donate Now button and get involved. It's going to take you to the United Nations Human Rights site. Now, that's where you can donate and you can support. And all these issues that we've been talking about all night, on that site, you can get involved. You can help out on climate change. You can help out on women's issues. You can help out on children's issues right there on the site. It has been my pleasure to be your host during this beautiful night, this wonderful night. It's a hopeful night. The Call for Code 2020 Awards, I think, is going to be, at least for me, a great highlight because it shows out of breakdowns can come great breakthroughs. And I'm a big believer that powerful and positive impact technology and the powerful impact that technology can make in our lives. We can make a difference. We've got the ability to make a difference. It's been inspiring to me to see the powerful role that technology is playing. Even in the midst of a pandemic, we can tackle the world's biggest challenges if we do it together. And I hope that you have enjoyed this show. I hope that you realize that we need your help. Get involved, donate, and stay tuned. I'm going to hand it over now to my co-host, the great Danielle Banks, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, man. That was just an amazing show. Congratulations, of course, to all of the winners, and a big shout out to the grand prize winner, Agrily. I'm meteorologist Danielle Banks from the Weather Company, which is an IBM business, and I will be your host for the Call for Code Awards post show. In just a minute, we're actually going to go backstage, behind the scenes, to hear from the winner and from all of our finalists, because as we keep saying, and we really mean this, everybody is a winner. But first, even though we have had the big announcement, Call for Code isn't over. Far from it, okay? Call for Code really is always on, and the Call for Code team would love your input on what events and activities you'd like to see in the coming year. So if you haven't answered the poll questions, please do. Make your voice heard. They're in the window, which is on the left side of your screen, and all you have to do is just select your response, hit submit, and those responses are going to help shape the program in 2021. Again, your voice really does make a difference. For instance, what's the motivating factor behind you getting involved in Call for Code? And, we want to know, is it the chance of winning that grand prize? Is it to address a real societal problem? Or is it something else that's brewing on your mind? What would you like to see more of in the coming year? How about digital events? Would you like to see more open source projects? We're just listing out a couple things. More collaboration with technical experts. And where would you like to bring Call for Code in the future? Your community, you got to tell us where that is, to your company, to other online communities. And I know it's only 6 questions. We really appreciate the participation. This feedback really is going to be invaluable. Okay, we got to get to this. We have to check in with this year's winner, Agrily. Oh, congratulations, everybody on this team. Such a big win. How surprised were you when you heard your team announced as the grand prize winner?
I was almost crying. I couldn't even barely speak. We do not feel elevated above any other 400,000 developers or any other projects submitted to these competitions, because we believe we share the same love and desire to help society. So I was so happy and extremely grateful for IBM and the Call for Code competition.
I really think that what's going to make you cry more is when you hear how much of an impact this program is going to have for people. I mean, that makes me want to cry right now. This has just been such an unusual year. I mean, how challenging was it for you guys to work together as a team? We talked about this amid the lockdowns and in the middle of a pandemic.
It was fine. We had some difficulties because of the time zones. You know, we have people in Mongolia and Taiwan. Yes, Shimika. And but we did great. You know, we used it to use some online communications. So I think we did a good job on that. We delivered the project in time. We did every perfect, and thanks for my team. You know, because it wasn't possible to do it alone.
Oh yeah, you did a good job. Once you guys decided to enter the challenge, you started exploring solutions. Did you come up with a bunch of different potential solutions and then narrow it down to this one, or did this one kind of come out as the clear winner that you guys wanted to focus on right from the start?
No, this come right in front of us. You know, we have Chimika that was doing some resource with in Agroli in Mongolia, and then with farmers. So she came with a lot of potential problems that we have. So we sit together and we try to solve this type of problem. So we didn't go away of it. And then later on, we did some researches and to just complement our idea.
Oh, I am so excited for you all. And it's, you know, all the late nights, all the collaboration. It's paying off tonight and it's going to pay off for years to come. What do you plan to do to celebrate?
Join together in online meeting, and I'm already celebrating, you know, since in the morning I was here happy and talk with everyone because we are all winners, you know. It doesn't matter if it's COVID or climate change. I think we are all together to make changes in people's lives and in the society. So I was since the beginning commemorating since the morning today.
You know, what's killing me is that you guys are all separated and you can't hug each other and jump up and down. So we're going to do the best we can. Let's all virtual hug, okay? We're all going to virtually hug each other, okay? I mean, wow. So amazing. Not the same, but the best we can do.
Yes.
Oh, again, congratulations. And, you know, we're going to hear a lot more from Agroli in the days and weeks to come. And once the submissions for this year's challenge were received, they went through 4 rigorous rounds of judging based on criteria like creativity and innovation and design and usability. And then in the final round, they were evaluated by a group of esteemed judges that includes world leaders, dignitaries, and diplomats, and C-level executives. So what makes Call for Code so important to them? Let's listen.
I wanted to be a judge because the evidence is very clear about the importance of having a diversity of people framing problems and also solving those problems. And we get much better solutions as a community and as a society when we draw on the larger envelope of people and ideas. And I think that Call for Code really, really exemplifies this approach.
So with Call for Code, the entries that come in that intersect, for instance, farming, or agriculture and climate change, water, droughts and farming, food and supply chains. You start looking at these different intersections of various stakeholders that are impacted by the same exact issue.
Call of Code is exciting for various reasons. One, it is because the project is a project about using the technology and creativity around technology to offer solutions to the disasters that are really attacking us globally. There is a lack of solidarity in this situation. This is a global crisis, and a global crisis needs a global reaction, a global response.
Technology can help in almost every phase, from being prepared for disasters, developing resiliency to disasters, mitigation, response, and recovery. There's a role for appropriate technology in all of that.
A quick reminder to take the poll if you haven't done so already, and also to get involved by clicking on Donate Now. That's on the right side of your screen, and that's going to take you directly to the UN Human Rights site, and that's where you can donate to the tremendously important causes that they support. Now, coming up next, let's check in with our top 2 finalists, our second and third place winners. Welcome and congratulations to everybody. We got to start with SafeQ. I know that all 5 finalists were no doubt hoping to be the grand prize winner, but you just must be so proud of what you have accomplished. What's going through your mind right now?
Oh, I think it's just fantastic. I mean, I'm so proud to be part of this whole organization that's doing all these things in all different ways worldwide. It really is incredible to be part of this group of people, and I'll never forget this. And of course we're continuing. This isn't the end for us. We are moving forward with as much as we can do, because that's really what we're in it for. Is to get this out to folks so that they can benefit from it.
Well, Dave, I couldn't help but notice that you have some guitars in the background, so you must be a music fan. And I was just wondering, if you were using SafeQ in your car, waiting to go into a store, what music would you be playing on the radio?
Well, you can tell by the hair, I'm sort of a classic rock kind of guy. So that's pretty much it. It's probably ZZ Top. Or something like that, or
a Van Halen tribute. I know we're all so sad about that loss.
Eddie Van Halen. Oh my gosh, yes, definitely. Yes, you hit it on the head.
Well, I am so excited for you. We want to talk to everybody, so we will check in with you, of course, in the weeks to come too. Let's go ahead and scoot over to Business Buddy. Hi. So you heard your team's name announced, and so you got to tell me some of the thoughts that were running through your head.
We're just like so incredibly thankful for this experience and opportunity. I think just from our backgrounds as university students, we didn't really think that we would have the potential to get this far. But I think now that we're actually here and to come second place, it's such an honor and we're so proud. And it's just so amazing to think about the journey that we've been on. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't think you guys understand how much you have probably inspired middle and high school and college students just by entering in the first place. And just to get to this point is absolutely incredible. You guys could mentor so many kids and tell them, nothing is impossible just because you're young.
Definitely. I think I think just even going through this competition, we were learning so many things, and IBM makes it really easy to like have access to all this technology. And I think for all the younger listeners and viewers, I think what we would say is to really pursue your passion, and if you have an idea, it is definitely possible to make that come true.
And you made it come true in the middle of a lockdown, in the middle of a pandemic. And, we've talked about this before, but in case some folks missed it in the pre-show, how challenging was it to work together as a team with these circumstances?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Right now in Australia, at least in Sydney, COVID restrictions are a little bit more eased. We've been quite lucky. But during the actual coming together of our submission, we actually had to work online and virtually. So we only met up as a team for the first time after we had submitted. So it's quite an interesting experience. But yeah, very, very good. And we're very happy to have gone through it together.
I'm so pleased for all of you. Have you guys thought about what you might be doing with the money?
I think look at the heart of our solution. I think the heart of our solution was small businesses and trying to help them. So I think we'll be thinking of creative ways to spend that money and to help them get back on their feet.
Excellent. Oh, it's so wonderful to hear from you. Dave, I just want to go back to you really quick. Did you have any final thoughts before we move on down the line to talk to our other finalists?
No, I guess I'm just one part relieved that we've gotten through all this. Again, just proud to be working with IBM moving forward as I have before, and thanking all the folks who helped me, like the folks who inspired me, my wife in particular, Marie, who told me this was a good idea back when I wondered, was it a good idea or not? She said, yeah, it is. So I said, okay.
Well, she was
Thank you
right.
for asking.
She was absolutely right. And we're so glad that you entered and Business Bunny entered as well. And just congratulations to all of you on your win. So coming up shortly, we're going to have an encore performance by Rivers Cuomo from the Grammy Award-winning band Weezer. And last year's cover album, also known as the Teal album, has been streamed over 100 million times since its release. I was one of those streams, I'll just say. Their widely anticipated new album is set for release in 2021. But first, we have to move to our other finalist. Okay, you guys have been standing by patiently. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that you are chatting with us. Okay, so Meg, I'm a mom. You're a mom, okay? We could do the mom talk thing all night long, but we just don't have that much time. But I would just love to know what was going through your head when you heard your name called.
Right. Well, first I just want to say congratulations to Agrali for such a fantastic solution. And at MSP Media, we are busy creating many tech for good solutions just like Schoolistic. And we're eager to continue to deploy those and get them out there to help the people who need support. So, really I'm just thinking about how open source can really help, not just in education, but in other verticals as well. So yeah, I'm an honor to be a part of this. And I say, if you're a developer out there, join us, join us and find that cause that speaks to your heart. And let's continue making technology accessible for all.
As the parent of a virtual second grader, it definitely speaks to my heart. It has been a challenge for so many working parents to try to juggle it all, and I have no doubt that Schoolistic is going to be a huge, huge help to so many families going forward. Okay. Offship, you have been waiting very patiently. Being in the top 5 is a really big deal. Just love to know your thoughts on this very special night.
Very humbled. I mean, it's been a fantastic ride this entire time with great support from IBM and just the awareness, right? I think that we're in a very lucky position to have a brand recognition now, and hopefully people start using our product. It's going to be released very shortly, actually. We have made submissions to the Google Store. So it's going to be available. We hope that people use it and that it actually makes a climate change difference in the world.
I think it will. Everybody wants to shop smart, reduce their carbon footprint. A lot of people are relying online for deliveries and just to get the goods that they need without having to go out in public more than they are A, comfortable with, or B, probably should. So this is a wonderful solution. And thank you so much for coming up with the idea and entering Call for Code of the night. I'm going to ask you, what has stood out the most to you?
Oh, it was just the amazing ideas. I think that was the real thing that stood out the most. And if I had to pick a second one, I would definitely say all of the organization and tremendous support that's been brought forward by IBM. The awareness, the strategy, and just the attention on matters that are paramount to everything that we're seeing in the world right now.
Wonderful. So I just want to applaud everybody, all these incredible ideas and teams, and of course, just the late nights. I kind of made a joke about the late nights and how many cups of coffee and hours of collaboration and pinging each other back and forth. And I mean, when you see it all pay off, it just truly makes me proud to be an IBMer. I tell people all the time, I would talk about this even if I wasn't an IBM employee, because I think it's so cool. Meg, I'm just gonna let you speak to that as well, because Call for Code really is so unique. What a creative outlet for the developing world.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm active in the WordPress community, and they've supported me so much through this whole process. And the Linux Foundation open source really gives sort of an open casting call, to think about such a big opportunity, and it's very inspiring. So, whether it's in education or another area that inspires you, Call for Code is a great opportunity to get involved and, use the skills you have in technology to benefit the world, right? Because it's a big deal. We can
Absolutely.
help.
Well, I'm going to go
We
let
can do
you
a lot of
do your happy dance. Your happy dance with your family and your kids.
Yeah.
I would love to see that, but I'm not going to ask you to dance on camera right now. I'm not going to ask anybody, but you did mention the Linux Foundation, and in addition to the support from the Linux Foundation, all the finalists were provided with IBM Cloud credits. You're also going to be assigned a mentor, and you get to talk about the impacts that those resources are going to have on helping you to continue to build out your solutions. So I just want to get the thoughts of Meg once again, then we'll jump back over to Offship.
Yeah, the thing about open source that makes it really fantastic is that you can rapidly deploy solutions and use them in a variety of ways. So I love that, Bob Lord spoke to this as well, that one solution in one area can be taken and applied in other areas. So we can see school listed impacting not just in an education sector, but outside of that vertical as well. So with open source, particularly when you combine IBM, WordPress, and React, you can have something that takes you really anywhere that you need to go. And our team is focused on that. We are winners already at MSP Media because we get to work in tech for good. So whether it's education or, another sort of near and dear project to me is fishermen and protecting charter operators. But, we have open source supports us so that we can rapidly deploy. So let's just hang on tight and see all 5 of these amazing projects deploy rapidly and watch all the good that they can do in the world.
Oh, nobody's going to let these ideas slip through their fingers, I assure you of that. I want to talk to Jonathan and the rest of the Offship team for your thoughts.
Absolutely. I think that we live in a global world, right? And I think having the opportunities to contribute on open source projects is being a true active member in the technology fields that we work in. And it's fantastic. I mean, it's already having some fantastic results. I've had people reach out to me already tonight and said, where's this code repository? How can I contribute? What can I do? And I think that would be the best result to see, is that people are becoming active, participating, and truly trying to make change.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, you and the other finalists have all been so gracious enough to be with us for this entire awards program. It's ran a little long, even since before the pre-show started, but everyone's been having so much fun. And, once we sign off, I would love to know how you plan to relax tonight. Are you going to hit the pillow hard, or you think that you're going to stay up for a while and celebrate?
There might be a few extra video conferencing calls being made and sharing some libations with some individuals all around the world. Yes, definitely in order.
Wonderful. Meg, with school listed, I have a feeling that you will be given a salute by so many people in your community and the people that you work with.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm honored to be a part of Call for Code. It's been a great growth experience, and our team has been so very inspired by all of the projects. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see where we go from here. I think that there's so much potential with this solution, not just in the United States, but globally. It's a platform that allows us to say, okay, well, if we establish a global platform for developers to contribute, then we can color that platform with ideas from around the world and make an education solution that can be shared. And that's inspiring, right? That's inspiring. That's really inspiring. So
absolutely.
I'm excited.
I heard somebody say that coding is like a form of poetry, and I'm going to copy that line because it's true.
Yeah. It is. I'm a sort of creative coder. My background is in design, and I can tell you that it's the same muscle, right? When you are doing art and when you're designing code in your head, it's all the same. And so we try to think of and empathize with the people that will be using our solution, particularly in something so important as education. So it's not just the children, it's the moms and the dads and all the carers. You know, we all have something to contribute to our own children and also other children in our neighborhoods and throughout the world. We think about connectivity issues. You know, not all locations have the same internet supplies. We have to be thinking about those things.
We should. Absolutely, 100%. We could talk so much more, but I know you guys want to get off to celebrating with your families. I want to thank you again for being with us and congratulations. Unfortunately, we are coming to the close of our virtual backstage post show, but it was wonderful just to get additional thoughts from all of our finalists. But we have one more treat in store. Once again, Rivers Cuomo.
And this one's called Buddy Holly. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. What's with these homies dissing my girl? Why did they go to front? What did we ever do to these guys that made them so violent? Ooh, ooh, but you know I'm yours. Ooh, ooh, and you know you're mine. Ooh, ooh, and that's for you. I look just like Buddy Holly. Oh, oh, and you'll marry Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. Don't you ever fear, I'm always near. I know that you need help. Your tongue is twisted, your eyes are slit. You need a guardian. Ooh, ooh, but you know I'm yours. Ooh, ooh, and I know you're mine. Ooh, ooh, and that's for you. I look just like Buddy Holly. Whoa, oh, and you'll marry Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Bang, bang, knock on the door. Another big bang, get down on the floor. Oh no, what do we do? Don't look now, but I lost my shoe. I can't run and I can't kick. What's the matter, babe? I'm feeling sick. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter, you? What's the matter, babe? I'm feeling blue. Oh, oh, you, I look just like Buddy Holly. Whoa, oh, and you'll marry Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. 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 Thank you.
Bravo, that was awesome. Well, that does bring us to the close of this year's Call for Code Awards celebration. Congratulations to all of the winners. We're emphasizing all here. Just amazing work and an amazing cause. We want everybody to stay involved, and if you haven't done so already, you can still donate. And remember that IBM is going to graciously match up to $100,000 in donations to UN Human Rights from October 13th until the end of the day, October 14th, 2020. I have loved spending this time with you, and I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I have. I just want to give a quick shout out to our production crew, Lawrence, Mark, Rebecca, Drew, Michelle, Babette, Kavya, and Troy. You guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.